Hi everyone, welcome to Luna Divination Tarot. Really excited to be here today with you for a pick a pile reading. So today's reading is going to be about relationships that have now broken down. So it's a person that you are no longer in contact with. And the question is, what do they wish they could say that was left unsaid? So with all of these readings, I would always encourage you to actually go and have the conversation with the person. But if you're currently feeling unable to, maybe because you're scared, maybe you've fallen out, maybe you're just worried that actually they don't want to hear from you, hopefully that there might be something in one of these piles that might give you a different perspective, maybe some help on a new way to approach the problem. And if, it comes up that it suggests that actually, there's no point getting in touch because it's just going to be more of the same, don't get too disheartened, because hopefully there'll be some advice of ways to heal any difficult emotions that you're having. If obviously you are having any form of break with your relationship, I would always encourage trying to talk to somebody. If you can, talk to a relationship therapist or a therapist to help you through any difficult emotions you might be dealing with. So take some time and tune in, quiet your mind, ask for advice from your higher self, and try and tune in with the higher self of the other person and ask what advice can these cards offer for the greatest healing for both of you. So this is pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. It might be helpful to stop the video and go back to the picture at the front of at the start of the video and just tune in and meditate in front of it. And then when you're ready, go to the description box below, because all the timestamps for when each of the readings starts, it will be listed. Also in the description box is information if you want to get a private reading or would like to donate to the channel. And please do subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you'll be alerted next time readings come up. But for now, let's crack on with pile 1. Hi pile 1, welcome to your reading. So if you chose this beautiful smoky quartz, hopefully this quartz is quite a good thing for getting clarity, but because there's kind of smokiness in this quartz, I imagine you're here because there is a bit of a lack of clarity in the communication that you've been having with the pair of you. So let's have a look what's happening. So the cards today, I'm using some classic Rider-Waite tarot, another tarot deck, some angel oracle romance, and then a selection of cards which are all channeled messages. So let's start with your tarot first of all. So first up, we have justice. So it could be that you maybe are having some legal issues with this relationship. It could even be that you're divorcing, maybe you're getting mediation, or it might just be that after a time of injustice, finally you're getting some clarity and balance. Here we have the card of justice, which has the scales and some truth. So this is a very Libran energy. So this is about the peacemaker. So this is about balanced communication. This is kind of a card of maybe the communication between the two of you has been very emotional and not balanced. So this is about them wanting some balance in the relationship, something that's fair, something that is kind of the middle way. This is about negotiation. It's about diplomacy as well. Next up, you've got the 5 of Cups. So this is really about emotional rock bottom. So if it is a case that maybe you are getting divorced, I think this person's having a real dark night of the soul. They could really feel that everything is lost. In the card here we have 3 cups which have spilled. This can be a bit of a feeling of almost crying over spilt milk as well, not realizing that there is opportunities behind. So I think they're wishing that maybe they felt that maybe everything has gone wrong here and can't quite believe there might be a second chance available. They probably just feel like love has left their life at the moment. It can be a real card of grieving as well. It could be actually with these 2 cards that maybe there has been a death, and maybe there's some sort of separating of the estate that might have been causing difficulties in your relationship. But if there has been a breakdown and something like a divorce or something that feels quite final with an ending, of course that feels like grieving totally. Next up, you've got the 7 of Swords in reverse. So the 7 of Swords can be quite a tricky energy. It can be seen as a card of sort of deception, of difficulty. If there is a breakup here, maybe there was a feeling of that, maybe there was infidelity in the past, or maybe even just sneaky behaviours where they weren't telling you the truth, or they might have even felt that you weren't telling them the truth. there can be just a need to get out of a cycle which hasn't been working. Also, the 7, it could be even that you hit the 7-year itch, which is, in relationships where you kind of classic relationship dynamic where you hit 7 years and for some reason it breaks down before you have a new cycle starting. So it could be that they were thinking, oh God, I need to get out. Maybe sometimes with this, there can be a desire to think, oh God, maybe the grass is greener elsewhere. And maybe they did play away or were even just thinking about that and you got upset at it. And that's what's brought the kind of relationship to some sort of separation. But they're releasing this energy. I think they really see what a fool they've done, because look, they're releasing this energy, but this energy is looking back at this. So I think they're really stuck on the energy of the past. This is an enormous amount of regret. And if it was you that was maybe cheating or being, messing around, they're really hurt by it. So, and if it was them doing it, I think they really regret it and realise what a terrible mistake they've made, and are probably not sure you'll ever forgive them, and so are unable to forgive themselves at the moment. Then you have the sun in reverse. So this is probably, the sun in the upright here. This is Apollo, who's the god of the sun. This is about wisdom, joy, celebration, music, things coming to light in a positive way, things being in the spotlight. When it's like this, this is a card of things not being victorious. So it could be as well that if you are going through a divorce or something, they're aware that they're not about to have their day in the sun, let's say. It could be that all the truth is coming out now. It could be, that the truth is going to be coming out publicly. They're aware of that, and they're kind of fearing what their family, their friends, their social status could be kind of at risk here for them. So for your angel oracles, you've got engagement in the reverse. So yeah, maybe it was that you were planning on taking this relationship to a higher standing, and maybe there was an engagement that got pulled off. An engagement that got called off, maybe because you discovered some form of dishonesty in the relationship, and it could just be that they were being dishonest with themselves, or you were, there was some. Maybe you were, portraying to the world with this, engagement, or trying to make everyone think that you had this really strong relationship. It was all sun and roses. Maybe you spent a lot of time, putting photos on Instagram and making everybody think that you had this amazing life together, but actually it was deception. And maybe that's all come crumbling down now. And in fact, people maybe in your social circles are just so shocked because they thought you were the dream couple, and it's all come out now that it wasn't really as good as that. And they feel that the attraction has gone out of this relationship. Maybe neither of you are attracted anymore to each other, because maybe it was an illusion. And probably if there was some form of deception, whether it be self-delusion or actual, some form of cruelty, of course, an attraction is going to go. Maybe they were showing you a completely false mask, and when it slipped, you realise, hang on, you're not who I thought you were at all. So why would I be attracted to that? So let's see what other messages that their higher self wants to say. You seem too pure for my sexual tastes, are you? So yeah, maybe this is part of it. Maybe they thought that maybe they have lots of kinks that they never shared with you, and that made them go, and they were sneaking around. So maybe it could even be that they were watching, pornography online that you were kind of shocked about, because you never thought that was the sort of person that they were. And then when you find out, you saw that as them cheating. I mean, cheating these days, it's not just going and, having an affair. It can be, we think a lot of things are sort of mental, mental infidelity, and particularly if they were hiding it from you, sneaking around, and maybe that then came out and you realise that they have, some sexual side that you never knew about, and then they might feel very kink shamed for that. But if that is, if it is a sexual thing here, I would never encourage kink shaming. It's not a personal thing. Sometimes it takes people a long time to become comfortable enough to admit stuff. My mental health comes first. No ifs, no buts. So yeah, potentially this is some sort of sexual thing that maybe you've said, okay, I'm not into this, therefore we must end everything. But they know that they have to be involved in this sort of kink for their own mental health. And that isn't a personal thing, I wouldn't think. Please get in touch. I don't know what I have done wrong. So it could even be that you found something and you haven't even confronted them about it. So they just might be feeling totally abandoned right now. Really just have no idea what's going on. Stick with it. So I think they want you to stick with the relationship. They want to find a way to work this out. And well, there you go again, saying you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? So that's the lyric from a Fleetwood Mac song called Dreams. So yeah, I think it's you that's ended the relationship, and then they're just completely lost. They really don't understand why, but they're not going to stop you if you don't want to be with them. It's not for them to... Oh goodness, the light's just changed massively, hasn't it? Bear with me, sorry, 1 second. Nice to see the sunshine. That gets away in the reading a little bit. Can you see that? Oh good, there we are. So yeah, I think they just... This really strikes me as someone that's really heartbroken and confused. And you know, they want their mental health to come first with this. But I think they don't quite know how to do it at the moment. And even that, you know, that sets up a boundary which maybe you've not been used to in the past. And that again could feel kind of deceptive, because you're like, but hang on, where has this person come from? You know, we've been together 7 years and I've never heard that you ever wanted to do those things. And now I find out, you know, you've been looking at that online all the time and you've hidden that from me. And maybe you feel that, like, who are you now? So I would say with a reading like this, they want you to get in touch. So I would suggest, you know, go and have the conversation with them. Take it from a different perspective, though. I feel like if there has been something that you see as deception, maybe your ego is a bit hurt at the moment. But, you know, if your ego is hurt, their soul is hurting right now. And this person obviously really needs the love. So if you can find it in yourself, this could be an amazing opportunity to really get to know who each other are. You know, if there's a case that there has been some infidelity or difficulty, there's an amazing therapist called Esther Perel who does this beautiful podcast called Where Should We Begin, which talks about infidelity. It's real life therapy sessions, because you hear really amazing language of how to have these really difficult conversations. So group 2, group 1, I do apologise, my lovely quartz friends. I wish you the best of luck. Please do comment in the below if any of this, you know, if any of this rung true. I'd love to hear. Let's talk about it further in the comments. Take care. Oh, my love. Hello, lovely group 2s. Welcome to your reading. You have this beautiful blue stone, which I can't actually remember what the name of it is, but I always think it looks like a beautiful sort of bit of water. So hopefully we're going to get something a bit nourishing for you. It's just looking a bit dark. Well, I think we'll be fine. Okay, so we've got some classic Rider-Waite tarot cards, and then another classic tarot deck, some Angel Oracle Romance cards, and then a bunch of cards which are channeled messages, which I've done the last few days. So let's start with your tarot cards. So remember, this is a reading for what would they wish that they could say. You're no longer in communication, but this is for a relationship that you were in a committed relationship, but now that's finished. So you have the 8 of Cups. So this is a card of walking away from something you don't really want to walk away from. This has been a really difficult thing to walk away from, but it seemed really necessary because there's just been a lot of emotional pain, and it kind of feels that it's gone as far as it can. Got the 10 of Swords in reverse. This is a really difficult energy. Final death. I think this together, you guys have been going through it. It has been a war zone. I really feel for you both here. The 10 of Swords is so difficult because it does say final endings, but in some ways it's almost like there's a resisting of the final ending. Like they've walked away, but they're still thinking, oh God, was it the right thing to do with this death? Is there any way for these swords to fall out of my back and heal? So there can be a lot of feelings. I think maybe communication is really broken down. It could have been a lot of mental games, which have just really, a lot of painful actions, a lot of painful words, where they feel they've been stabbed in the back, and you probably both feel you've been stabbed in the back, and therefore thinking, goodness, where is the love gone? I just can't take any more of this war. So you've got the Queen. Oh my days. Right. Beautiful. You've got the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. So you guys are serious counterparts. I feel you probably have been what you would call a power couple. You've probably maybe even had a business together. If not, you might be both, in some form of business, maybe quite high flyers. I imagine you have a lot of self-value of each of you, but you also, I think, have an enormous amount of value in this relationship, which might be just why it's so shocking that it's ended like this. Because look at these beautiful, this is always one of the best couples to come, because it's real self-actualization, but together. But it's interesting because look at these colours, right? You're in the dark. This is like, I would say this is quite a dark night of the soul. But it could be, and then you look at these colours, that's the nighttime. But look, this beautiful sun. So it could be that whilst this has been a really difficult time, by the summer, you might be looking at being much more balanced. It could be that this was an ending of a cycle. This might have even been a 10-year cycle, or you've been battling it out. You might have been having to sacrifice love because you've been more focused on building an empire together, and that's led to fights and difficulties, but actually now you're coming out to win. And it might be that rather than this being walking away from the relationship, you're walking away from this last decade of extreme pain. This massive karmic cycle might have just ended for your relationship, and now you guys come back together if you aren't talking. And it is time that you finally reap the rewards. It might have been a really necessary parting for a short time. Wow, I mean, this, for me, getting these two counterparts together is extremely positive. And yeah, wow. So yeah, and you've got the Three of Swords here. So that's a card of just utter heartbreak. You've got this corpse dying here because he's been stabbed by this... I think actually, I can't remember what the mythology is here. If they were counterparts together and there's been some sort of stabbing. So there could have been some worries about the future of the relationship. Maybe one or the other of you started feeling they wanted to move on. Maybe there was some form of interest in somebody else. And you've got the Seven of Swords. Interestingly, the last pile one also had Seven of Swords. This is a card of deceit and deception and difficulty. And I see this in this deck very much as wearing masks and having to use guile, kind of having to play games. So it could be, if you have been building this empire, you might have both had to be quite cutthroat in your life to build your careers. And maybe that's had a bit of a negative impact and it's sort of infected the relationship. But now you're at a point where maybe you don't have to be so dishonest and, using guile. It can be time. This is time to kind of reap the rewards. And in your romance angel oracles, you've got love yourself first. So because you've got the Three of Swords, which is a real card of heartache, it could be that you've needed to take a break to do some healing for yourself, because maybe you've both been asking for each the last 10 years, demanding that the other one, goes and makes money or goes and provides you with all the best things to fill that hole, where actually, it's that sort of idea of the hungry ghost. That it doesn't matter how much you have, that hole can never be filled, whether it's food or fine wine or sex or drugs or holidays or possessions or big houses. You're going to have to go and heal that. So if there's any feeling of heartache, it's not up for the other person to heal it. You need to do it, and that's what they really want you to know. Because yeah, maybe they've been like breaking their back, working and working and working to try and build this empire for you, and it's just been never good enough, never keeping up. We always have to keep up with the Joneses, just never good, not feeling valued. But if you go and do that healing of love yourself first, this is what you get. You come back together. Amazing. That's so beautiful. And you get all the, this could be as well, maybe do some healing on your sacral chakra. And then this is, your last card is past life relationship, but in the reverse. So it could be, right, we've just gone through a huge karmic time of ending past life karma. So it could be that you were healing, you've been together in past lives, and you were healing the karma, And now you've done it because you can release it. You're releasing all this old karmic crap. And so now, because you've done all that spiritual work, even if you haven't realized you have, the rewards are coming, my loves. Yes, 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 yes. So, yeah, I would very much say keep focusing on your own healing right now. But let's see what messages they have. Okay, so the first one that comes out is no. So I don't know, maybe you had a yes/no question. I hope that means something to somebody. I mean, what did I just say about karmic lessons? It's over. It's complete. The lesson has been learned. Let go, give thanks, and move on. Whatever's been happening, it could be the last 10 years. It could be the last 10 lifetimes. That struggle, it's gone. You've learned it. You're done. Congratulations. Like, I just got actual shivers. That is a level of graduation, of spiritual graduation. Really, this is amazing. Amazing. Oh, the next one is get some more vitamin D. When I wrote that, first of all, I really saw it as get outside in the sunshine. But then when I looked at it afterwards, I was like, oh, that says to me, I think some sexy times need to happen. So, you know, maybe a bit of both. Oh, yeah. And also, you know, I just said about a sacral chakra. So the sacral chakra governs like creativity and money and sex. So actually maybe do some healing, do some sexual healing. And that might be what helps. You could be using sex for manifestation. Oh, yeah. Can't wait to tell you how I feel. Are you open to healing? Come on, that's beautiful. If you're not in communication at the moment, get in touch with them. They just can't wait to hear from you. And look at this one. Please be the one to start the conversation. I'm more scared than you. You know, you guys have been through the ringer. Like, put out the olive branch. Make that first move. Put down your pride. Love is more important than pride. What's that phrase? You can be right or you can be in love. Like, let go and let God. Come on. And if you've had any worries that they've maybe moved on and been seeing someone else, I'm single. So maybe this goes together. Maybe you've been really worried that they've moved on, they're seeing someone else. And so you're not getting in touch because you know, are worried about that. But I think they're single. And in fact, eat, sleep, wake, nothing but you. I think they really do. You might have been thinking they moved on and been thinking about all these other people. They haven't been. And this is a song by a band called Bombay Bicycle Club, which is really beautiful. So maybe go and have a listen to that. And the last card, oh my days, you blow my mind. Perhaps you blow other things as well, my dear cheeky friends. So, you know, with this divine counterparts, I don't use any energies. I do all my readings, you know, non-gendered. So, because, you know, why would we be binary when we don't have to be? So, I see beautiful, like the most gorgeous opportunities for the future with the pair of you. Reach out, call them. Go and meet them in person. Get off these tarot card readings. This is your sign. Stop being confused. Go and love each other. My beautiful pile twos, I hope that has been helpful. Please comment in the comments below and let's continue this conversation. I just really hope it was helpful to you. All my love. Thank you. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. So you've chosen this gorgeous rose quartz. So I imagine we're going to get some message for some heart healing there. Let's get some love into your life. So for the deck today, I've used some classic Rider-Waite tarot cards, another classic tarot deck, another one of those, some romance angel oracle decks, and then a bunch of channeled messages from your person. So let's start with the tarot cards first of all. So Knight of Wands in reverse. So this could be someone that's been coming or going, and they aren't going at the moment. It's kind of their fire's burned out a bit for this. You know, in the upright, this can be a lot of sexual energy, but it can be a bit overwhelming, and you know, sometimes it can be this way it can be a bit hot and cold. Also, this can be quite temperate. You know, this person can have quite a lot of temper. So yeah, in the reverse, the Knight of Wands. It feels like some sort of sexual block. There can be maybe a lot of temptation, a lot of seduction hasn't been happening. So this can be a bit of a huffy card. So they might be in a bit of a huff right now. They might be feeling quite sexually repressed as well. Next up, you have the 3 of Wands. So another fire card. This is a card of waiting for your ships to come in. So you could be in some form of long distance relationship. You know, maybe you've not been talking for 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, maybe 3 years. There's some form of distance, but this is a card of waiting. And as you can see, there's all these little green shoots on top of the wands. So I think they're still hoping that there's something that's going to re-spark this fire between you. This, you know, I think they still have sexual desire for you. And they might be feeling real sexual repressed right now and maybe a bit huffy. And they might just be thinking, oh, why am I so bloody waiting for you? Yeah, but I think they want you to know that they're still waiting. Yeah, they're still waiting. So this is the Hermit card. This is your next card. This is, you know, being a recluse. They might not be seeing anyone else because maybe they just can't get over you. And they're waiting. You know, this is a card of sometimes in self-enforced isolation, but to do real deep soul searching. You know, the Hermit is, for me, one of the most beautiful cards because it's a, you know, the Hermit is, you know, the wise sage, kind of like a Gandalf person that goes off into a cave in the mountains to do his deep meditation, to really do the healing, and then is able to, you know, he's got this lantern, so is able to bring out his true light and lead, you know, lost travelers home. So this is really beautiful. They're trying to build their inner strength, and it might be, I think for them, they feel like they've been waiting for a really long time, and they might be feeling like old father time, that, you know, they might be really feeling they've been celibate for a long time. They might be feeling quite impotent. They might be feeling like the vitality's gone out of their life. They're feeling old and just waiting for something better to come. They might be really, you know, they might be a bit stuck in their loneliness here, actually. I just got the my loneliness is killing me. Bit of a Britney Spears for you there, my love. But I think they might be feeling that a little bit. Because next up is the Six of Cups, but in reverse. So this is normally a card of offers, of sweetness, of, you know, like, you know, all the beautiful nostalgia, warm, generous love, particularly if it's in the upright. But in the reverse, there's a feeling of, you know, this is a feeling of coldness, of being left out in the cold. I mean, you can see he's got the winter snow here. They're waiting for an offer of warmth and it's not coming in. I think they're waiting for you to make the first move. I feel like I wonder what happened in why you're not in communication. 6 of Wands, so they're waiting for victory and they still think that there could be victory. And this is public recognition. So it might be that, you know, they've been waiting for 6 weeks, you know, 3 weeks, but they're thinking, oh, another 3 and we're getting victory. So I don't know if you're, maybe you are separate from each other, maybe you're living abroad, but you do have a trip coming up, and then they think, oh God, finally when we're together. Could even be that they're coming on a business trip to where you live. And here they are, you know, this is Jason with the golden fleece, so they're waiting to win this amazing prize, and maybe they think it's you. And maybe they even are considering moving to where you are. But I think they fear, so we've got the card of unrequited love, but in the reverse. So I wonder if they're thinking that you don't have the feelings for them that they have for you, but then they're not quite sure. Or maybe they rejected you in the past and now it's all over and now they think, oh bloody hell, what did I do? I'm going to do some clarifies on that. And the last one is calling in your soulmate. So I think they're spending time, you know, they're doing the internal work because they really want to call in an amazing relationship that feels warm, and they feel like they finally got success, and, you know, they feel sexually brilliant and powerful, you know, and in their power and potent and able to manifest all the victories they want. So I wonder with this, if they've had issues of unrequited love in the past, it might not be that your relationship feels to them unrequited love, but they might be trying to do their healing from issues of unrequited love because they just might be really nervous of really telling you how they feel. You know, if you've been in a long distance thing, they might even be thinking, oh God, this is more of the sort of old fantasies I've got stuck in the past, and I don't want to make those mistakes if this is all fantasy. And so they're trying to work out, okay, well, if this is fantasy and I fall for people that are emotionally unavailable, that means that actually I'm emotionally unavailable as well. And this, you know, the hermit is somebody that goes off on their own, is very isolated. But to look at that and to examine that, and I think maybe they feel pretty soon they will have been doing enough healing work to be coming out of that energy and into this energy of success. You know, and when you feel success, you're ready to share your stories with the world. You're ready to tell everyone of the amazing victories that you've made. That's amazing. I'm really into that. But I'm going to do just a quick clarifying card on this unrequited love. Please show me why this unrequited love card is here. What do they want you to know about this? Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. This unrequited love card. The two cards that came out there are the Queen of Wands in reverse and the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So my feeling there is, this is, if you know, I said about being emotionally unavailable. It could be a past relationship, but I think it might be more to do with their mother in childhood, because our attachment traumas come mainly from, you know, both of our parents, but particularly a lot of it's to do with the mother. And if they didn't feel that their mother was emotionally available to them, and they didn't really have a happy, prosperous home life, maybe their mum was having to work tons. It could have been even that she was a single mother and was just so busy that she wasn't there enough to be able to provide all the emotional support that they really needed. And because of that, they've learned to be really self-reliant. But now they've been doing this self-reliance for so long that they feel alone and cold. And, you know, the fact that we had this Six of Cups in reverse now, that makes me feel they maybe didn't have the happiest childhood. I think maybe they felt quite lonely. Maybe there wasn't that much warmth. And therefore, that might feel quite difficult to believe that the love that they want wouldn't be unrequited, because they're just not used to having that caring comfort that they've always craved. But I think they really hope that that's with you and they want this victory. So let's have a look at these messages. Ooh. Your jealousy is driving us apart. Please get help and heal the underlying wound. So this could be particularly that we got this Queen of Wands reversed and this Knight of Wands. These are people that pick fights. They are petty, they can be jealous, but it's because of their own wounds that they're projecting out. So this work that this person is doing on themselves, if you're finding them emotionally unavailable, it's actually a reflection of your own emotional unavailability too. Because the sort of relationship with the parent I talked about there, if you're jealous, it's really likely that you have a similar thing. It could be that you're attracted to each other because you actually recognise it in each other. So next up, tell me what you want. I'm not a mind reader, so that's quite self-explanatory, really. So I mean, look, you're here having a look on a tarot card reading because you're trying to get clarity. But you know, I would say with this, maybe you're feeling they're not being terribly emotionally mature, but I think you might be doing a bit of mirroring of each other here. And maybe you're a bit scared to make the first move because maybe they've not been too emotionally available in the past. And so you're presuming that because they've not been open that they don't want to hear. But I don't think that's true, because the next one says, feeling very confused. So if you're feeling confused and feel like you don't have clarity, again, that's how they're also feeling. So if there have been fights or you've fallen out for some reason, that's why you're not in communication, I forgive you. Let's move on from this issue and build a better relationship together. So it could be, if you're doing long distance, that is a really challenging thing to do because, you're not seeing each other all the time. So you're worrying that maybe they're seeing other people, So maybe you're both kind of picking fights because you're not getting to do the everyday thing with each other. You're focusing on me too much. Please put your attention elsewhere. So I think that, what I was talking about, them going and doing the healing, maybe they're thinking that, they want you to do the healing too. And they think you're making mountains out of molehills. So yeah, if you've been picking fights and being nitpicking, maybe time to reevaluate. But also they say, your hunches are worth listening to. Go with your gut. So if you're feeling some form of romantic relationship that you want to kind of find out if there is something here. I think they're asking you, please, you know, get in touch, find out. But if your gut is telling you, if you've got hunches that this isn't something that you feel is actually going to be good for you in the long term, well, then they're telling you, yeah, listen. So I think with this one, get offline, stop spying through tarot card readings, and go and have an actual frank conversation with them. Don't get het up. Take the anger and the emotion out of it. Put your guard that, you know, put both of you need to put your pride down and just put your fear down and speak from the heart. And if you do that, if you're authentic, and then they say, I'm sorry, I'm not able to give that to you, do you know what? At least you know that you did something which most people can't do, and you really spoke from the heart. And then you know. But if it turns out that you speak authentically, and that gives them the opportunity to finally be authentic, which you might have been feeling that they weren't able to do in the past, the only way to get people to be emotionally available is for you to be emotionally available yourself. Because that's what gives everybody permission to be like this. And particularly if they've had some relationship or parental situation in the past where maybe they weren't allowed to be emotionally available. Maybe, you know, it could be that if the mum was working so much, you know, maybe there was any form of trauma. You know, quite often it's just batten down the hatches, and you've just got to get on with it. You've just got to get on with it. And then years later you go, oh God, well, actually, I don't want my future to be like that. So I think you're both feeling really confused. The only way out of confusion, authentic communication. So pile 3, that's your reading. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Please comment in the comments below. I'd love to carry on this conversation with you. I really hope it was helpful. And join me again for another reading. Take care. Bye-bye.